Now, the Enforcement Directorate, we're told, has widened its net. There's a senior IAS officer who's also now under the agency scanner. The Enforcement Directorate is searching for 4 luxury cars that were owned by Arpita. The latest information, of course, that we have is that Partha Chatterjee and Arpita were taken for a medical examination. 4 luxury cars that are owned by Arpita Mukherjee are currently being searched. The actor, remember, has been linked to the sacked Bengal minister Partha Chatterjee. ED sources say that cars including an Audi and a Mercedes loaded with cash has been unearthed. Now, this is what the ED sources are claiming they found. Enforcement Directorate sources also telling NDTV that they are scanning CCTV footage and conducting raids to recover these cars. Searches are on at various flats that are linked to Arpita. Now remember, 50 crore rupees in cash has been unearthed from these locations. ED sources also saying that a diamond ring with the initial P has been recovered during these raids. Senior IAS official is also under the scanner. According to ED sources, they claim that Arpita Mukherjee and Partha Chatterjee have, of course, been the masterminds of this entire cash for job scam. Arpita Mukherjee and Partha Chatterjee are under arrest in this school job scam case currently. Let's go right across to Arvind Gunasekar, who's bringing us all these latest details. So, Arvind, it doesn't end at the 50 crores in cash and 5 kgs in gold. Now, a diamond ring being recovered. What we're also learning is that there's been a massive operation underway to locate 4 luxury cars. What's the latest?
Yeah, Ritika, the Enforcement Directorate, which is probing the alleged money laundering allegations in the case linked to the cash for jobs when it comes to the West Bengal school teachers recruitment case. The agency has already arrested Partha Chatterjee, the then Education Minister of West Bengal, and also Arpita Mukherjee, the close aide of Partha Chatterjee. So at the searches at the premises of Arpita Mukherjee, the Enforcement Directorate has already seized almost 50 crore in cash and also almost 5 kgs of gold that have already been seized. But what is also very important is that the agency has also seized a series of documents, papers from the residence of Arpita Mukherjee that reveals that both Arpita Mukherjee and also Partha Chatterjee, both of them jointly own several properties through directly and also through Binami individuals, and that's where the agency is directly linking that whatever the assets or whatever the money that they have seized from Arpita Mukherjee's residence is directly linked to Partha Chatterjee, because according to sources in the Enforcement Directorate, both of them have had several financial transactions between both of them, and all these properties that are jointly owned by both of them through directly or through Binami sources reveals that both of them were working together in order to conceal, in order to assist, and in order to facilitate entire this money laundering or proceeds of crime. And that's why the agency is saying that the entire 50 crore cash that was recovered from the residence of Arpita Mukherjee is the cash that Partha Chatterjee accounted or accumulated through this particular teacher's job for cash scam. So that's why the agency has taken both of them into custody, and as we speak, the agency is also summoning 2 to 3 more people where they want to further investigate them. So what we are being told is that few more individuals will also be summoned in the course of the investigation, but the investigation has now gone into this particular aspect of properties that are jointly owned by both Arpita Mukherjee.
Arvind, I'm going to come to you, and ask you a little more about this officer who's under the scanner, but I want to just very quickly get some more details from you at the moment on 2 things. One, of course, is the fact that we now understand that these 4 luxury cars that are being searched by the Enforcement Directorate, the Enforcement Directorate is still looking for these cars, an Audi and a Mercedes. ED sources are telling us that these cars are also believed to be loaded with cash. So this amount of 50 crores now likely to be higher?
Rishika, the cars they are looking, that were used by Arpita Mukherjee, which is something that the agency is looking for. That information is the Enforcement Directorate. But regarding the money in the cars, something that the agency sources are yet to confirm, but they are looking for the cars that were used by Arpita Mukherjee. That also includes the 2 cars that you mentioned. So in fact, almost around 3 to 4 cars are the cars that were used by Arpita Mukherjee in the course of the time, and that's why the agency is trying to find them. But this particular allegation where that particular cars are loaded with cash or something that we are yet to get it confirmed from our sources.
All right, so we're yet to know whether more cash is likely to be unearthed from these cars. Meanwhile, there's also a diamond ring that you're reporting that has been found with an initial P. Also, what more can you tell us, Arvind, in terms of the searches, of course, that are being conducted at various locations, and a senior IAS official who's under the scanner? Do we have any more information on that?
Rishika, when Partha Chatterjee was the education minister, that's when this entire allegation. What is the case all about? The case is that there were grave irregularities in the recruitment of both teaching and non-teaching staff for standard 9, 10, 11, 12 grade in West Bengal schools. That's the government-run schools. That's the prima facie allegation. So several recruitments were done in lieu of cash or bribe. So that's the prima facie allegation based on which the Kolkata High Court ordered CBI to probe the matter, taking cognizance of CBI's affair. The Enforcement Directorate has initiated a monitoring probe. But all those officials who helped Partha Chatterjee to allegedly run this entire scam of giving out jobs, teaching and non-teaching jobs in government-run schools in lieu of bribe or cash, their roles, the officials who are part of that particular system or administration at that particular point of time, they are also under the scanner of both CBI and also Enforcement Directorate. The senior IAS officer or the name of the identity of the officers is something that they have not revealed it yet, but some of the officers who were at that particular time, who were working in the education department of West Bengal government, they are under the scanner of Enforcement Directorate.
All right, and we know that, both, of course, Arpita Mukherjee and Partha Chatterjee, so far, these are the only two people who've been arrested, Arvind, in connection with these seizures as well as this scam, or are they likely to be, is the net perhaps likely to be wider?
The net will be for sure to be wider, Rishika, because as we speak, the agency has already issued 3 more summons, including a TMC MLA and also a very close and assistant of Partha Chatterjee. He has also been summoned by the Enforcement Directorate. So as we speak, we have got a confirmation that the agency has issued summons to 3 people. So based on the questioning, the Enforcement Directorate will take further action in this particular case, because the custody of both Arpita Mukherjee and also Partha Chatterjee is getting over sometime on August 3rd or August 4th. So when they are produced before the court, the Enforcement Directorate in all likelihood will ask for further custody of both of them. So at that time, when both of them are produced before the ED or CBI court there in Kolkata, the agency, in that particular case, the agency will have to show the court that they have made several progress in the investigation and there are new further developments in this matter, and that's why they will need further custody of both Arpita and also Partha Chatterjee. In such a case, it's likely that the agency will make few more arrests closer to the ending of custody of both Partha Chatterjee and also Arpita Mukherjee, that we can expect sometime in August 1st or August 2nd or maybe tomorrow, day after tomorrow also. So in all likelihood, there will be more arrests in this particular matter, but it all depends on the questioning that the agency wants to conduct based on the 3 further summons or 3 fresh summons that the agency has given in last 24 hours.
So more arrests are likely, Arvind. That's very interesting. What you're telling us essentially is that you're learning via sources that 3 more people have been issued summons, and could you share any more details on who these 3 people are? You're saying they're also linked with the TMC, MLAs and MPs, both?
One TMC MLA has been summoned by the Enforcement Directorate in this very case. So he has been asked to appear before the Kolkata office. So he has been given the time. I think he should appear today. Maybe he would have already appeared, or he is yet to appear is something that we'll have to check from a Kolkata bureau. That TMC MLA has been summoned, and also a personal assistant of Partha Chatterjee when he was the Education Minister of West Bengal government. He has also been summoned by the Enforcement Directorate. Apart from that, there is one more link, a common link between Partha and also Arpita Mukherjee, the man who dealt with all these properties of financial transactions. He has also been summoned by the Enforcement Director. So in total, almost 3 new people have been summoned by the agency to join the investigation. So they have been asked to join investigation today and tomorrow. So we can expect, based on their questioning, whether the agency decides to arrest them right away or whether they would be arrested closer to the ending of custody of both Arpita and Partha.
Also quick word, Arvind, is, someone who understands and covers the agencies, at a time when there has been, more questions really asked of the central investigating agencies, the CBI and ED, repeatedly, being targeted for, vendetta politics, for acting at the behest of their political masters. That aside, This is surely a feather in the hat for the ED, isn't it? Given the fact that they've done their, I think that their biggest ever seizure, if I'm not wrong, 50 crore rupees in cash and counting that has been seized, and this, like you say, is going to be bigger. There are going to be more arrests, more interrogations, and perhaps this amount could also be bigger in days to come.
Yeah, Ritika, in fact, this time the opposition parties cannot say that it's a clear case of political vendetta, which hunting, because Enforcement Directorate has recovered almost 50 crore in cash. They didn't just go into a place and they didn't come out empty-handed. They have recovered almost 50 crore in cash, and that's why that's a shot in the arm for the agency, and that's why they are trying to widen the investigation, because this particular 50 crore, according to our sources, it could not have been from this one particular case, because the SSC scam, the recruitment SSC recruitment scam deals with the recruitment of teaching and non-teaching staff in the school grade, in the grade of 9, 10, 11, 12. So what our sources are saying is that even if there were hundreds of jobs that were given in lieu of bribes and money, this particular 50 crore could not have been accumulated in that particular case alone. So that's why the Enforcement Directorate is trying to find the source of this particular 50 crore, because this entire recruitment of teaching and non-teaching staff happened some few years back. Even in that particular case, even if hundreds of jobs were given in cash, but this 50 crore is something that the agency is trying to account for. So that's why they are saying that it's not just this particular teaching recruitment scam. There may be something more that would have resulted in this accumulation of 50 crore or 50 odd crore plus. So that's why the agency wants to grill them more, and also wants to find where all this particular tainted money came from. The source of this tainted money is something that the agency is trying to find more.
So, in a certain sense, it's interesting, because yesterday when when the TMC held that press conference where they announced, of course, that, they are sacking Partha Chatterjee after all of this has been unearthed, they did insinuate, how such a large amount of cash and jewelry can be seized on the basis of, just a cash for jobs scam that is linked to the SSC recruitment. They were, of course, insinuating perhaps that, this is again political vendetta, has, money been planted, etc. But what you're essentially saying is that the way the ED is going forth with this is that they're looking at this as scratching the surface of something bigger.
Yeah, Rishika, because our sources in the Enforcement Directorate clearly say that they have to find the source of this entire 50 crore, the money that has been recovered from the premises of Arpita, because even if that money, they could find that all this 50 crores belongs to Partha Chatterjee, but they have to prove it in the court of law that this entire 50 crores is a proceeds of crime in this particular SSC recruitment case. So, because what the case that the Enforcement Directorate probing now is the SSC recruitment case. So, in such a matter, when the Central Bureau of Investigation, which is probing the criminal case, if they could come and say in the court of law, saying that some 100, 200 jobs were given in lieu of bribes or cash, but even then the Enforcement Directorate in the proceeds of crime has to prove that this entire 50 crore is from that directly SSC recruitment scam. Unless until the Enforcement Directorate could prove that this entire money is proceeds of crime linked to that particular case, then the case won't stand in the court of law. And that's why the agency is building a very watertight case. They are very clear that this entire 50 crore is not just from this one particular case. There may be more such cases that they want to unearth during their investigation.
Right. So what you're essentially saying is that if the ED can't link all of this 50 crore rupees, these luxury cars, the diamond rings, the gold jewelry, if they can't link all of this to the SSC recruitment scam, and they can't prove that all of this is illegally amassed wealth and are in fact proceeds of crime, then they won't really be able to build a watertight case against Partha Chatterjee. I also want to ask you, Arvind, there have been, many reports doing the rounds on the fact that Arpita Mukherjee is actually turned against Partha Chatterjee and has sort of, in a certain sense, spilled the beans. What more information do we have about that?
Yeah, the searches that were conducted by the agency in the second premises wherein they recovered somewhere close to 30 odd crores is something is based on the investigation that Arpita Mukherjee gave to the Enforcement Directorate. That's what our sources are saying. Because during the course of the investigation, Arpita Mukherjee has given all these details, and based on that information only, that the Enforcement Directorate conducted the searches at the second premises wherein they recovered this entire host of cash hosts of cash and also gold and also property documents. And sources say that Arpita Mukherjee is very actively cooperating with the investigation. These are the exact words that we heard from one of our sources, that she is actively cooperating with the investigation, and that's why the agency got to under this entire host of cash in the second premises, and that led to the further searches that took place yesterday also.
So that in a certain sense spells further trouble for Partha Chatterjee, Arvind.
Yeah, Ritika, that's for sure. It's a mounting pressure or a further trouble for Partha Chatterjee. But point is, how the Enforcement Directorate gonna put Arpita Chatterjee in the court of law is something that we have to wait and watch for. Because even if Arpita Chatterjee turns an approver in this particular case, but the agency has to build a case against Partha Chatterjee, and that's why the agency is trying to look for other associates of Partha Chatterjee who will help them in building this entire network of 50 plus odd crores, etc. And that's why they are summoning other people who are linked to Partha Chatterjee.
Right. So those are, of course, the larger details of this particular case. But we're given to understand, Arvind, that they're likely to be in ED custody now, till the 3rd of August, if I'm not wrong?
Yeah, in all likelihood, both of them will be in the custody of Enforcement Directorate custody at least till August 3rd. But let's be clear that Enforcement Directorate, when they produce both of them before the competent court on August 3rd, they would be saying that they've got further new leads in their investigation, and that's why they will need further custody, because Enforcement Directorate can take custody up till 14 days. But as of this moment, they've got only 10 odd days. So they can again ask for 4 more days custody, which in all likelihood the ED will be asking for both.